Welcome again to Ancient Tales for Today. This is a very old book. Well, actually, this book isn't so old, 但是它的来源 comes from over 3,500 years ago, 3,500年以前. Whoa, that's a long, long time ago. And it answers some of the most fundamental questions. Okay, like where did I come from? And where am I going? You know, these are very, very difficult questions. Okay, today's lesson is going to be a very interesting one, and you'll want to stay by because we talked about the beginnings of evil. Okay, the beginnings of evil. Now we have to continue our discussion. Okay, and our discussion centers on the results, 这个后果, and these results involve us. So, with that, what we're going to do is come back in just a moment. But first, you need to listen to the story.
Story number 8. The first person to be feared. We have all felt fear, whether it's being terrified of something that happened to us, or afraid of what others do, or even a nightmare. We know fear. This world is full of fearful people, anxious about what may happen to them, frightened about the future, and so forth. The worst is fearing those we love. According to ancient tales, what happened after Adam and Eve broke trust with their Creator and followed the way of the devil? First, it says that they realized they were naked. They looked at themselves and saw guilt and shame. They realized what they had done was wrong. They had chosen evil and had broken the relationship with their loving Father. Then they felt afraid of what was going to happen to them. They were afraid of punishment. They were afraid of God. The very first person ever to be feared was God Himself. How could it be that the Creator, who had made everything very good, who loved every being in creation, could now be feared? Because of the devil's lies, he was now seen as the enemy. Think about the situation. How do you fix problems in relationships? If someone believes bad things about you, does it help to get mad and shout that you are a good person? No. The only way to change the way people think about you is to prove that you are not a bad person. You have to demonstrate by what you do that you are good. You are caring, loving, and trustworthy. Only by actually doing these things will people believe you. Words are not enough. As the old saying goes, words are cheap. So the one who is feared must now show he doesn't need to be feared, that he is caring, loving, and trustworthy. That is what the Creator is still doing.
Okay, have you ever been afraid? 你有没有惧怕过? Of course, we are always fearful. We have little fears and big fears. Dan, I don't think there's anybody who isn't a little bit afraid. 没有一个人是根本就不会怕。We always fear. Now, today's lesson is the first person to be feared. We have all felt fear, whether it's being terrified, 恐惧 okay, or terror, 这个恐惧感 okay. We have always been terrified, whether it's being terrified of something that has happened to us in the past, okay, or afraid, 很怕什么 what other people will do to us, 别人怎么样对待我们呢 or even a nightmare, 或者我们做噩梦 okay, a nightmare. We know fear, 我们都经历过 in this case, to know fear 是经历 experienced and still experience fear. This world is full of fearful people, 充满 fearful people, people who are afraid, and they are anxious. Okay, anxious is a type of fear, anxiety. They're fearful, anxious, worried. Anxiety is kind of like a word that's got worry and fear, and they're all mixed together. Okay, and people are anxious. What may happen to them? 他们要发生什么事 Frightened. To be frightened means that they are afraid, they are fearful. 都是这个恐惧都是害怕 okay? Okay? Frightened about the future. Of course, none of us knows about the future. 这个未来的事，将来的事 we don't know. So we fear, hey, what's going to happen in the future? The worst is fearing those we love. Is that possible? 我们所爱的，我们是怕我们所爱的。According to the ancient tales, this book, according to the ancient tales, what happened after Adam and Eve broke trust with their Creator? Okay, what happened? 他们的这个信任的关系破裂 okay, they broke trust with their Creator. Okay, okay, 那之后发生什么事 okay? Okay, they not only broke trust with the Creator, they followed the way of the devil. They followed the devil. 他们是跟从这个魔鬼的鼓励他的路 Well, it says the way, 这个道路 Okay, what happened? Going on. First it says they were naked. Whoa! Naked? 赤身露体 In other words, they didn't wear any clothes. Actually, they didn't wear clothes before, but apparently there was kind of light, so they couldn't see. They looked at themselves and they saw guilt and shame. Guilt? What is guilt? Okay, guilt is feeling sorry. Okay, 罪疚感 Okay, guilt. And shame. What is shame? Shame is feeling bad about something. They realized that they what they had done was wrong. You know, the minute they did it, have you ever had that experience? The minute you've done something and then you realize that what you've done was wrong? That's what they did. The minute they ate the fruit, they realized there was something wrong. Okay? They had chosen evil. 他们都选了邪恶 and had broken relationship with their loving Father. 他们这个可爱的就爱他们的这个天父。The relationship 这个关系就破裂了。Okay? They have broken relationship with their heavenly Father. Then they felt afraid. Okay? 他们那时候就感到恐惧。Okay? Afraid of what was going to happen to 怕要发生什么事。Before, they weren't afraid of anything. No fear. But now, they were afraid of everything. They were afraid of punishment. 他们的惧怕什么？ They were afraid of 惩罚，刑罚 punishment. What is God going to do to us? They were afraid of God. 他们就怕他们的神。Going on. The very first person to be feared was God Himself. 最早怕的是谁呢？ God Himself. 上帝他本身。That's who was to be feared. How could it be that the Creator who had made everything good, who loved every being in creation, could now be feared? 怎么可能啊？这个创造主 He made everything. Okay? And He loved every being. Being means human being. Okay? That in His creation, 他所创造的 How could He be feared? Now that, my friend, is a good question. And in just a few minutes, we'll come back and we'll give you an answer. Okay, and now for a little light on our path. Actually, how do you know, Lena, when you can't see a person, you can't see God, how do you know that He is good?
我看他为我做了什么。
Okay, very good. Let's look at a text. It is found in Romans 5:8. And it says here, but God demonstrates His own love for us in this, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
很感动啊！这里是罗马书第5章的第8节，圣经说：“唯有基督在我们还做罪人的时候为我们死，上帝的爱就在此向我们显明了。”
So we can tell that God is good by what He does.
他为我们做了什么，让我们看到他是爱我们的。
Okay, so that's it for Light on Our Path. Now, we asked the question as we finished the last section, how could the Creator who made everything good, 他所造的都是好的, and He loved every human being, everything that He created that was alive, okay? Now, how could this God be feared? And the answer is because of the devil's lies. 就是因为这个魔鬼的所说的谎话 ，OK， 谎言呢 ，OK， of his lies. He was now seen as the enemy. So God, the he here is God was now seen as the enemy, which means that originally God wasn't the enemy, but the devil lied. 他说谎话. And now people saw God as their enemy. Is God your enemy? Well, at the very beginning, these ancient tales say that the very first man and woman started to consider that God was their enemy. Think about the situation. 考虑这个情况. How do you fix problems of relationships? 这个关系就出事情的时候，或破裂的时候 how do you fix them? 怎么样纠正呢? Okay, going on. If someone believes bad things about you, let's say somebody thinks or believes bad things about you, so they think that you're a bad person, 你是坏人 Okay? Does it help to get mad? 如果你发脾气 Does that help? 会不会帮助他们? Of course no. It won't work. Okay? What if you shout? 大声叫 Will that convince another person? 会不会说服别人? 他们就可以说那现在我知道 No. The person who shouts the loudest would obviously be the most trustworthy. No, that doesn't work. How do people know that you're a good person? The only way to change the way people think about you, 唯一能够改变别人对你的看法 okay, is to prove that you're not a bad person. 你要证明 okay, 证明你不是坏人 okay, so you have to prove it. You can't jump up and down. You can't shout. You can only prove it. You have to demonstrate by what you do that you are good. 你的行动 okay, demonstration okay, demonstration 行动 okay, 要证明你是好的 okay, so your demonstration, you have to demonstrate by what 你所做出来的必须表示 that you are caring 会关心人家 that you are 可爱的 loving and that you are 可信任的 going on. Only by actually doing these things. 只不过只有我们这样做 only by doing these things will people believe you. 人们才愿意信任你 believe you, trust you. It's the same word we translate in very similarly. Okay? Words are not enough. 你讲的话是不够的 Words are not enough. The old saying goes, 这个有一套老话说 words are cheap. Words are cheap. Of course, we know cheap means 便宜, 便宜, okay? Cheap. But in this case, words are cheap means 没有什么多大的价值, okay? 你讲的话是没多大的价值. People want to see what you are doing. People want to see what you're doing. Words are cheap. So the one who is feared must now show that he doesn't need to be feared. So if people are afraid of you, let's just take a look at it. If people are afraid of you, so the one who is feared must now show that he doesn't need to be feared. 那其他的人就不用这个怕他，不用怕他。So you have to prove it by your actions. Why do a boyfriend and a girlfriend spend so much time together? Because they want to prove. 用他们的行为表示他们的心意. Okay? You want to prove that he is caring. You see, so the one who is feared must show that he doesn't need to be feared, that he is caring, loving, and trustworthy. 这是可信任的，可爱的，how would you say caring? A caring person is a person who cares for, 会关心别人. He's not selfish, 不是很自私的. Not self-centered, 不是自我为中心的思想. Okay? So, that is what the Creator is still doing. And even to this point, 这个创造主还在做这个，你要看他的行动，才知道 that he is caring, loving, and trustworthy. Now, we'll come back in a few minutes, but we're going to check something else out right now. Okay, Lena, now we're going to look at a few words.
好
First one is terrified.
terrified 是说恐惧是吧？
恐惧. Did I sound very,
Yeah.
very bad?
Very terrified.
Well, you're terrified. I cause terror. Okay, I want to talk about a word, and we talked about it in this lesson. Let's look at the word demonstrate. What does it mean to demonstrate something?
是表明、表示的意思，对不对？
Yes, that's exactly true. 表示表明. So we demonstrate our love by our behavior, 我们的行为. And so how do you know that I love you or you love me or a boyfriend loves a girlfriend? How?
看他的行为了，不光是他说什么，看他的行为。
Yes, exactly. So there it is. Demonstrate. We've come down to the last bit of our program. We've been talking about fear. We all have 恐惧. We all害怕. Okay, some of us more, some of us less, but we all fear. Sometimes we're even afraid that people will know what's inside of our minds. So we're afraid to tell people what we are really like. Now, we'll talk some more about that in future stories. But the first person to be feared from the very beginning, long time ago, was God. And even today, God is trying to use demonstration, 他的行动. What is he trying to demonstrate? He is trying to demonstrate that he is caring, loving, and 可信任的, trustworthy. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson and that you will join us next time when you have a mother and a father. Most often you have children. And we're going to talk about two brothers. And the lesson next time is called Brother Trouble. I hope you join us next time.
That's all for today, and thanks for watching. If you like Ancient Tales for Today, please visit atft.chinesehope.tv. You may also contact us by writing to ancienttalesfortoday@gmail.com. Again, that's ancienttalesfortoday@gmail.com. Tell your friends about Ancient Tales for Today. See you next time.